Seth and Kristen trying to write a book. Wordsmith at work.
Are we going to get unhinged, Kristen? Because that's amazing. I love no more fucks to give Kristen. Kristen is my favorite. Okay, so yes. We're going to do it. We're going to write a book. It's going to be amazing. And even if it's not, it's going to be fun. And even if it's not, I'm going to make you do it anyway. So it's a win all around. Okay, I'm going to gloss over the fact that you think I have my shit together, because I very much do not. And we're not going to talk about the fact that I'm seasoned, because most of my seasoning is salt at this point. And instead, let's dive into it. Okay, so I have actually got some experience with both doing a sort of live action novel and co-writing. So one of the things I did during the pandemic, when I was desperately trying to keep my shit together, was I came up with a way to turn my Dungeons and Dragons game into a novel. Because during the pandemic, obviously the D&D group broke up, and then half of my group moved to Arizona. Thanks, guys. But I had all the dice and I wanted to do it. So I wrote Museum of Magic, which was a book where I would like sketch out the plans for each chapter as it went. And then I would roll the dice on a live video and let people see like whether or not the plans succeeded or failed and how catastrophically they could fail. And then I let my readers vote on the big choice at the end that would lead up into the next chapter. So I have a little bit of experience with like the flying by the seat of your pants sort of creation of a book. And I also have some experience with co-writing, because I have Night of the Witch, The Fate of Magic, and now The Crimson Throne that I wrote with Sarah Rash. And that was another pandemic project where I was desperately trying to figure out how to continue my career when everything went sideways. I was on a Slack group for mothers who were also writers, because we became the default parents, because society is sexist, and also because writers tend to be able to work from home. So we could be at home with our kids and get them through their Zoom classrooms and things like that. So I was in this Slack group, and I forget who shared it, but one of them shared this article about the witch trials in Trier. And then Sarah and I were just like, oh, that sounds so cool, because we had heard about, Salem, but in America, we're really not taught about witch trials outside of Salem. And so learning about the European witch trials was really awesome. And we eventually started with going back and forth of like, oh, well, what if one of us wrote a witch hunter and one of us wrote a witch? And it was kind of like this in the beginning, because we were both in the pandemic. We were both kind of struggling to do something with writing. And so we just started passing chapters back and forth. And it was almost like fan fiction, but everything was original, aside from the actual witch trials. So it was a fun experience. And we didn't really intend, like, I think we both had this idea of like, well, maybe this will be something and we can get it published, but we didn't send it to our agents until we were done. And even then our agents were like, yeah, this sucks, rewrite it. And that was when we kind of had to decide, oh, do we want to take this project that we were doing for fun, rewrite it and get it like ready for publication? And I ended up being super glad that we did. That became my first book after the pandemic, and it really changed, it reset my career in a really, really positive way. And now I get to do it with you. Okay, so yeah, planning, the beginning stages. This is always the most intimidating part, where you don't know what you don't know and you don't know where things are going. So I think what we ought to do first is just get an idea that we're really excited about. I know that you like history, and obviously I do as well. I know we're both Anglophiles. We both have experience in YA, and I kind of feel like maybe we should stick with YA. Like, what do you think about a YA fantasy? That said, you also have sci-fi, and I do love a good sci-fi, as you know. So speculative something, fantasy or sci-fi, maybe YA. I personally think it's really easy in a co-writing situation where we each take a point of view character and we go back and forth. That's what I've done with Sarah. That's also just how I structure a lot of my own individual novels across the universe. I did that like on my own. I wrote that by myself, but like there's an Amy chapter and an Elder chapter, and they go back and forth. And I really did like that. Let's just brainstorm some of the things that we really like. I really like the idea of found families, and I really love heist. I did just write Ada Lamar and the Chaotic Orbit series, but I think that could do something like that could do really well in YA if we have like a heist. The Louvre just got broken into, so it's topical. But also, I just love criminals and doing a heist. And I kind of feel like, what about time travel? Like, I know your first book was a time travel book, and time travel does break my brain. But I think maybe a time travel heist? What about that? I don't know. We have talked before about other ideas. Like we had a magic system, and we had talked a little bit about, I forget what queen it was. Oh, Lady Jane Grey, right? We had talked about Lady Jane Grey. Although now the movie My Lady Jane has come out, so maybe it's not quite as good to write about now. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to brainstorm some ideas of just like the things I love and would like to just play with. And I kind of think that this reminds me of Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who has this great speech. I talk about it all the time. She has this great like presentation about writing for the id, like as opposed to like ego, the Sigmund Freud term id, where you're just writing about the things that just like you love. And you're just digging into those things that you love, and you're like unapologetically going for the tropes and the characters and the plot lines that you just really get excited about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of a couple different plot ideas that I really like, and maybe you do that too. And we'll find like the common ground of a story that we can do, because I'm dragging you into this kicking and screaming. And I'm 1,000,000% okay with that. But this is, all right, so this is homework, but it's not bad homework. It's just thinking about the things that you like what movies you like, what shows you like. Maybe this will be the time when you actually get me to actually watch the show 12 Monkeys like I've been promising to do. Who knows? Let's figure out some common ground on the things we love. Okay. See you soon.